What is going on, people? It's Matt from Liquid Loans. In this video, I'm joined by an absolute stud in the HEX and PulseChain community. You can catch him streaming on his channel on the daily with his partner in crime, Sam, always talking to interesting people, asking good questions and talking about good topics. So very excited to get him on the stream. And with no further ado, the one, the only, Mr. GRC Crypto GymRat. How's it going, buddy? You're muted, dude. You're muted. Have I muted you? Dude, your mic is muted.
My bad.
Oh, then no worries.
Good start, but it's nice to be invited on a stream, dude. Not because I don't ever get invited, but I always have to make the stream and like the topic and everything, and it's nice to get invited on and answer any question, like anything. I ask so many questions throughout the day, you know, like, and there's so much to talk about in crypto. And what I like about this channel is you pretty much stick to like, you know, relevant stuff. It's never on all that extra fat that everyone a lot of the time is talking about. And I don't like a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're an inquisitive guy, but I'm not sure many people know how much work goes into content, right? You know, obviously you can rock up on stream and not do, you know, you not prepare anything, but it shows. So you've got to have a narrative. You've got to do all this work behind the scenes, and you're a beast, bro. Like you're doing 6 days a week at the moment. Is that right?
7 days a week. I've never missed a day since I started.
Yeah. I mean, that's commitment. And I think we hold a lot of similar beliefs. Like we're both into like training and crypto and freedom and, you know, pushing ourselves and learning about the truth. So it's good to finally have you on here.
Yes. And I can't wait to have you guys on too. So, that t-shirt, I mean, what we were talking about this morning, like we were talking about that t-shirt jump and everything. And this morning, and I kind of wanted your take on it. I mean, I've never seen, I think that's the biggest one that I've ever seen. Like when I was looking at it, and it jumped like 755 points in one day, in one moment when it clicked over. Did you see that?
I know you had Matty all in. Is that what you guys, I caught half of it, and you guys were talking a lot about HEX and T-shares, right? So what was the topic? The T-shirt.
Well, we were just talking about like this, like the staking feature is a little bit confusing as far as how it ratchets up to a lot of people. Like people don't really know that, like they know that it ratchets up, but they don't know exactly why and when. And it was a great example yesterday because it was very clear because the jump was so high. It was actually a $60 T-share jump. Wow. And you could at some point buy a T-share for 60 cents. So think in one moment, when that person unstaked and then restaked or whatever the exact transaction was, the HEX per T-share rate went up 756 HEX, which was $60 last night. And its T-share started at 60 cents at some point or at the bottom. So I just was like commenting on how far we've actually come as far as adoption and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've heard Richard talk about it before, but I think he says the only thing more impressive than the HEX chart is the T-share chart, right? Because it's the T-share rate chart because it's always going up. And it's designed like that, so you can never get the same rate as you did, right? So it incentivizes you to get in now because tomorrow the rate's going to be worse. And obviously we saw that big jump up. Was it yesterday?
Yep.
Was it 750 HEX more today?
Yep.
Wow. Which
was like one of the biggest jumps in like top 7 of all time as far as single days. It's crazy. Yeah. It's just the HEX system in general. I mean, we don't have to talk about. I actually have questions about liquid loans, like too, and that's your subject.
Yeah, dude. Let's go where the conversation goes. But just going back to that before we get into liquid loans, it's very clever because it incentivizes you to lock up right now, right? Because you're going to get a worse rate tomorrow. And as we know, if you look into any sort of human nature or marketing, if you give people the chance to delay a workout or paying a bill, they'll do it. But if you give them, if there's a timer counting down, hey, you need to get in now to save yourself more money, or you need to do this now because you're going to miss out on whatever. Let's say you need to lose a certain amount of weight by a certain amount of time. You have that time limit. It always inspires, and it's more pressure to do it. And it's a good thing because otherwise we defer. We'll do it tomorrow, next month, next year, and we never do it. So the T-share rate is amazing. And the fact that it gets more expensive every day in HEX terms is a great part of the way it was designed, the game theory.
It was incredible. I don't know how he designed that. Or, I mean, I'm sure many people were in the thought process of designing it, but still, it's truly incredible what they created. I think it's important to point it out. Like this is something that's truly revolutionary within the space, within a space that hasn't even gotten started yet. You know, so I mean, it's just something to, you know, we were talking about the wheel and stuff, and they were like, the first time they used the wheel, it was not the same wheel that they were using 100 years later. It's like Bitcoin's not, it's not going to be the first tech that came out. It doesn't make sense. It wouldn't be that. It's just not how things work. Even in asset classes, like the tech, the 5-hour transaction times, you know, we could talk all day about that stuff. But in general, I think what Richard Hart created is truly special. And that's why I'm here. You know, like I was just, all I knew was Bitcoin. And then I just learned about Richard Hart, and he was calling the top. And I was like, this dude sounds pretty smart. I was like, sounds smarter than all the guys I'm listening to. And he has way more conviction. And I pay attention to people like that. Like, you know, how do they feel about what they're saying all the time? And he was always felt like he was correct. And it's generally because he was. He just knew the most in the room, and I could tell. And he immediately started calling the top, and I was like, I'm out of this, boy. I was like,
how did you get into crypto?
Paid courses, man. Just like, I'm a paid course junkie. So I've done paid courses for dating. I've done paid courses for lifting. I've done paid courses for eventually crypto, you know, at the end. But I only did one with crypto, and I realized quickly that they were selling bullshit. Not bullshit, but they were just trying to keep up with the Joneses. Like, you know, like the paid groups are not super incentivized to give you like super good alpha. It doesn't really matter what anyone says. The super good alphas behind the scenes, always.
Of course.
Always. And so if they're saying something in front of 200 people, they're incentivized to like leverage against you because there's enough money and liquidity there for them to, you know, just make their way with that. So it's a stupid, it's the incentivization structure. And that's what Richard Hart really blew right through, right? He said, I don't want your shit. You can't send me it if you tried. And I was like, boom, I like that. Like something about that was like, he's doing this because he doesn't give a shit anymore. Like, yeah, it touched me, and I forgot what we were talking about, but
no, but it's true. When you go back to those guys who are just like those shill groups, or, you know, the average YouTube influencer, by the time you hear about it, it's too late, right? Like you said, of course, if you're in the dev team or you're behind the scenes in the marketing team, cool. You know, you've got the inside info. But if you're hearing about it in a 200, 500, 10,000, you know, person Telegram group, it's too late. And I think a lot of people, including me and you, have been through the meat grinder, right, in crypto, where you follow the altcoins and this and that and think it's going to go to the moon. And
I bought Polkadot at $46. I sold all my Celsius at $8 and bought Polkadot with all the funds at $46 and rode that to the ground. So it's just like, and guess what? A really smart dude told me to buy that, or like advised me. I still like the guy, like, and he still holds Polkadot. Like, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, if somebody would have just told me, like, if Bitcoin dumps, Polkadot's going to dump harder, like at the time, I probably would have stayed out of it. I didn't really know that at the time. And HEX is the only thing that I found that has any kind of durability against that, whether that's just because it moves so quickly or it's just a little more stable than the rest, as you can see from the charts. Like, if you look.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different ecosystem for sure. Of course, you know, price goes up and down with HEX and what's not. But the fact that you're actually getting stuff from it more than just price appreciation, because, you know, DeFi or whatever you want to call it, crypto 1.0 was just buying and then hopefully, you know, you're selling high. Obviously, we have the staking feature and what's not with HEX. And as we go into DeFi 2.0, that's what's really exciting about, you know, yield producing assets, passive income with stuff like PulseX staking, right? You can delegate your pulse to a validator. You can make money through the liquid
David Feeder, take my pulse, bro.
Exactly. And also we have our own node anyway as well at Liquid
That's
Loans.
great. I'm so excited to do this stuff, dude. Like, I'm so excited. When I heard Feeder and like some cool guys were doing it, I didn't hear everyone, but I was just like, wow, this is like community driven. Like, this is really cool. Like, it's so personal. Like, we're at the bottom level of it. It's very, it seems a lot different, but it's probably just we're early. Like, we're just really early, you know, like we're all going to know each other, like, in a sense. Like, if this all blows up and works out, like, it's going to be weird. It's going to be a lot. That's why we always talk about the mental health and stuff. Like, it's important.
So what are you super excited about right now at the moment? What's something you're most excited about?
Dude, Hex, Pulse Doge, Hedron, bro. Like MAXI, you know, all the Hex derivative plays. Like MAXI's the best pre-fork play if you're not going to stake, period. Like there is no better pre-fork play. Like if you just do the math, like if you think, well, I guess you can't say do the math, but if you're going to do a play pre-fork other than keep fiat and you don't want to stake anymore, which is a lot of the position a lot of people are in, whether that's the right move or not, I don't. If you have MAXI, you are holding a liquid stake that you're getting copied over. So you have the benefits. I'm very excited about MAXI, all the derivative plays. And they're doing another derivative, like a yearly, they're doing a yearly, I forgot what the actual verbiage was, but it's called the team token. And it's going to be a derivative playoff, like a 1-for-1 derivative playoff MAXI.
So is it going to be like a 15-year stake every year? Like
it's going to be a 1-year rolling stake.
Okay.
So it's like every year, like you can either take out like what you got or like keep it rolling for the next year. And they just restake it or something. But basically it's like a shorter term. It's just like a shorter version of MAXI with like less bonus, but still has the benefit. So they're basically just kind of like doing different use cases because every time length is a different use case to someone else. Like a richer guy might like that year a lot better than someone like me who's like, you know, I could make some gains in the year, but let me just do the MAXI because it's 15 and I'll get, but a dude with $100 million, it'd be nice to see this stuff in the same year. Right. And I can get the benefits without the gas fees. So every time you switch the length of one of those derivative products, the product's use case actually changes completely. So that's kind of what they're going for. They're like different use cases because people would love to see the 15-year stakes, but what that does to the T-share prices and the Hex price isn't necessarily super marketingly beneficial.
Yeah, it's good to have options, and it's amazing that people just keep building, right? I mean, there's so many things being built, you know, for PulseChain, and there's lots of stuff that we don't even know about. You know, there's teams behind the scenes that are building stuff that we don't know about yet. They want to, you know, keep it under wraps until PulseChain comes out. So there's so many things to be excited about, and of course, the whole community was G'd up thinking it was going to be like a mid-May launch, kind of a bit of an anti-climax, but
I didn't care at all, dude. I get nervous about it coming out anyway. I'm like, really? I like to prepare. Like I'm a very prepared person. I'm like, the more time goes by, the more prepared I am and the more everyone else is freaking out.
So what's going to be your play then when mainnet goes live?
Nothing, man. I'm doing a 24-hour PulseChain live stream and I'm going to make sure I don't sell my bags. Like, you know, like for real though, like crazy shit can happen in that first day. People get cute. People are going to get cute. I promise you. Cause I like to get cute sometimes too. Like in my brain, at least I'd like to whip out my computer and like swap something over every once in a while, see what happens, you know, maybe that, you know, whatever it is. But the less you do, the more, because in 5 years, what's your wallet going to look like compared to the guy next to you that did 150 clicks on his wallet portfolio and you did 3?
Yeah, I mean, I spoke to Walrus about this and he's reiterated that message again and again, like don't try and be too cute at the launch. And to be honest, it seems like the common thread among everyone I speak to, whether they're kind of new to Hex and Pulse or whether they've been in the ecosystem or, you know,
they've never gotten gutted, dude. They've never been gutted. Like they've never been slaughtered. Like, have you been hit hard in crypto before?
Well, I bought stuff that's gone down 90%. Yeah.
Or you know what I mean? Like maybe like a rug pull here or there or something. Like, have you ever been like, oh my God, I'm an idiot?
Yeah, of course, man. I've thrown a few $100 in and then woke up the next day and seen it's been a complete rug.
You could have quit or whatever. Like, I forget what was the point you made right before that?
Well, what I was saying was the common thread among anyone I speak to, whether they're kind of new into Hex and Pulse or whether they're people like Randy Halasky, who shout out is in the chat there, you know, is an OG of Hex. He's been around. He's had Bitcoin since 2013, 2014. He's
a beast.
Don't get too cute, right? Don't think, oh, I'm going to sell here and buy back here and then whatever. Now, of course, there's going to be dips. And if you knew where the bottoms and tops were, of course, you'd be a billionaire already. But by trying to get too cute, I think we've all done it before.
I mean, Richard basically lays it up on us. Like, I mean, we do know the tops and bottoms for the most part. Richard's tweeted yesterday, he's like 15K. I wouldn't be surprised if Richard's the guy who makes the bottom. I'm not kidding.
In Bitcoin, he said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, you think about it. Like, he's called the top on the day. He's like, I didn't want to FUD the chart and do everything, but here's what I think is going to happen. He'll probably do the same thing on the bottom, and everyone will be like, he's probably the dude who does the last transaction or whatever. You'd never know in crypto. It's pretty crazy. But what I was saying before is, like, if you have not been hurt severely in crypto, you will be hurt severely at some point, because that's the only way that it can trigger. Like, there's a reason that some people succeed in crypto, because they have that fight or flight sense. They're ready to keep going if they get smacked around. But some people, you know how they get when they get hit. They're like, I hate that forever. This is bad forever. But at the end of the day, it's like, we're early adopting right now. We're literally creating the products that are being ran. Like, this is early adoption. It's like, this is not supposed to be cute. It's supposed to be like, who the smartest people are the guys who make it out.
I think it's good, though. I think it's good to get rugged sometimes. Now, of course, let me put that into context. Not for your whole portfolio, for your life savings. But let's say you throw a couple of $100 into, you know, a shit coin, or you buy something that you buy a top. Even Richard bought the top, right, in Bitcoin at $30 and wrote it back down to $2. So you learn, you know, if you see like multiple green candles in a row and you think it's going to go forever, you're a newbie in any coin, right?
If Richard Hart was making the top at $30 and his whole mindset is to like hodl long term, I wonder if he made the top at 65K. I mean, I know he didn't. He always says he helped make the top, right? Like at $30, like that's always his verbiage. I helped make the top. But what if the other guys that helped make the top sold out already? And he did it.
But what's good about Richard's story and loads of other people's stories is, you know, learning from the people before you. It's great. Like life experience is the best teacher. But if you can learn something from people before you and not, you know, sell all your Bitcoin or Ethereum or HEX or whatever, and then see it run up, you know, make a 6.9 million X. So it's weird. It's nuanced, man. Of course, hodling is a great strategy. And obviously, don't try and get too cute. Is what I'm going to do and what you're going to do. And I think a lot of people.
Are you going to try to make money on your feet? You know, like in the real world, like you're doing. Like I'm sure, you know, like you got to have work, right? Like you got to work, and the people, whether that's you have a regular job or whatever, like if you can make $100 a week for the next 3 years, extra, $100 extra on whatever you got, or you can take $100 off your bills. You can pick either or. You could be rich as shit. So like, it's even if it wasn't in PulseChain, like even if it was in Pancake Swap, $100 a week in a bull market. I mean, in a bear market, it's like $500 a week in a bull market. You know, like if everything kind of 5X's to its floor. And that's what Wendy's always says. He's like, whenever we're in a bear market, I feel like every dollar I make is $5. Like,
yeah, I mean, making money in a bull market isn't hard, right?
Yep, for sure. But setting yourself up is the hard part. How did you get into crypto? I mean, I know obviously you've been around for a while.
Yeah, so I've been investing for a while. So I started investing in stocks, ETFs, precious metals, heard about crypto in I think the first time I heard about crypto was like 2012. So I'm not even sure what the price was when I heard about it. Maybe even $25 or something like that, you know, or maybe under $100 for sure. And I've talked about this a few times with people on the stream, but I had that narrow-minded opinion where I was like, this is kind of annoying because I keep hearing about all these people becoming millionaires really fast, and it's annoying and I don't understand it. So I hope it goes away, right? Because I had confirmation bias. I was like, I know how to buy stocks, I know how to buy precious metals, and I don't want to learn about this crypto stuff. So I ignored it.
You're pretty young to have like precious metal bias.
Huh?
You're pretty young, I feel like, to have precious metal bias. Were you investing I mean, I don't know how old you are, I guess.
Yeah, well, I was living in Asia at the time. And
are you like under 30?
No.
I thought maybe you were like my age, but I don't know how old you are.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to dox myself, but yeah.
You look young. You look under 30, for the record.
Asian don't raisin, man.
I saw that picture of you on Instagram, and I was like, is this him? Because it didn't look exactly like you do. Maybe you just looked a little different on your Instagram picture, but you posted the link, and I wasn't sure if it was him, so I didn't want to. I'm all paranoid about everything on Instagram because I get like 1,000 spam messages on Instagram. So I'm like, everything I do, I'm like,
Can you hear me, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Who spams you on Instagram?
Just fake accounts. Like it's just
okay.
everyone has fake accounts now. So it's like I have fake accounts. They just put one letter off and then they just DM everyone in your, once they know you're like kind of like a crypto person or whatever, like once they get the sense of that, they just put like one dash at the end of your name and then they follow everyone in your friends list and then they DM every single one of them.
Yeah.
And it's like this big ring and it's like not being taken care of in Instagram. Like they're like Instagram's getting ruined. Like you can't even hardly interact.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about social media is, right, people are starting to, well, it's happening to us on the Liquid Loans channel. They're like trying to make a fake channel and then reply to people in the comments and stuff. And it just sucks, man, because that stuff is, you know, all the scammers and stuff is just disgusting, trying to take people's money. Listen, you had a bit of a security issue before.
Yes,
obviously you don't have to go into it, but what did you learn from it? And what, you know,
well, when I made my first HEX account, I was like 3 days into HEX probably. Like I bought HEX 3 days before. It's probably like 1 cent, 1.5 cents at the time. It was like before May of last year. And I just didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't much of a computer guy. I was more of like a jock. I did blue collar work for the most part. I did a lot of pharmacology research, but I just, you know, that's not really technical. You just go to the websites that you look up the research papers on. But I never had any, like, I was asking my producer Bullish, like, how to like copy pictures and like add them to like the download spot, like 6 months ago.
Okay.
So I didn't know what I was doing. Like but I understood crypto. I understood like money. I had a business, like, but I didn't understand the computer very well. So as I went forward, like I just did everything wrong in the book. I had a secretary at the time. I gave her my seed phrases. Like she was my secretary. I gave her my bank information. She did every single transaction that I did for everything. And people were like, "You just stole all your shit." And I'm like, "She didn't steal my shit," but I was learning what they meant. I was like, "You can't do anything with these words." And then the free airdrop shit started popping up on I didn't know what it was. Everyone talks about free airdrops all the time, right? And I was new. I was like, free airdrop. Everyone says they make money off free airdrop. Like there's a big old Twitter thread about it. It has a Telegram group attached to it. Like you're like, well, screw it. Like I'm on the Ethereum network, like or whatever. I think that's what it was that actually nuked my account. But the crazy part is the account that actually nuked my funds had 150 million HEX in it.
So what happened? You just woke up one day and your HEX?
Well, no, like I was on stream with Brand. Like this is right when I was starting too. Like I was just like poking around. People were inviting me on streams. I was just on Twitter and stuff. And like I looked at my MetaMask and I was like, all my shit was gone. And I was like, oh shit. And then like 2 months later, it nuked all the T-shares in there for a loss, by the way. But it was automated. It seemed kind of automated. Like if you looked at the transactions, it was kind of like, it didn't seem like it was necessarily like a person that was doing it, rather like the bot that they set up.
So how do you think? I mean, obviously you don't know, but how do you think they got the? Was it behind?
Well, no. So they asked for verification, I'm sure, and this was before I really knew what was going on. So your MetaMask pops up on the top right. It'll say some whatever airdrop token it is, and you click it without reading the directions, and within that contract, it's an allowance to do whatever allowance they need to have all your information.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it, you know. And then I freaked out for like 3 hours, and then I moved on. Like people were like, "He's lying." Everyone thought I lied. Everyone thought I lied about it. Everyone was like, "He's trying to be popular." I was like, "This is the dumbest way to be popular. Like go into the HEX community and then lie about getting hacked." I'm like, I'm not that smart, dude. Like it would be, you know, how long would I have to think about all of this? Yeah. And then I was like, okay, I'm not. So then I started streaming to tell other people, like, getting hacked is easier than you think. Like these guys are acting like getting hacked's not hard. I'm telling you, I just got hacked and I'm not a stupid dude. Like I just clicked on an airdrop or whatever it was at the time. Everyone was like, your security's worse than I've ever seen. When I was like, you guys have a big problem then, because you're not teaching people security right. I've been here for a while. I'm not saying you couldn't seek out that information, but they were telling me to stake 555 from the jump. From the jump. They weren't telling me about Trezor from the jump. They were saying stake it till you make it. I was like, yes, stake it till you make it. I staked all my stuff for like 11 years plus. And then I was like, oh, wait, that was my first account. I had no like understanding that smart contract. I was like, so of course we can move this at some point. Like I was that early. But they were saying, I was just going to like Whales Only or whatever, YouTube, like how to stake. Like I was just clicking it, like just following instructions pretty much. And I figured out the greatest staking ladder, but then I forgot like, yeah, I just forgot, you know, I just didn't realize what I was doing.
So what did you learn from that? You got a hardware wallet after that?
Now I have 3 computers and 5 hardware wallets and all sorts of shit. And it's much better. It's great now. There's no issues. Even if someone wanted to attack me, like it wouldn't even bother me as much because you guys spread yourself out a little bit. Even if you don't have treasures for every account, if you have computers that you don't use and you just system reset them, you can start accounts. You don't have to put all your money into one account.
Yeah.
You don't have to. I do 2 or 3 stakes per account, period. No more. I'm not staking 100 stake. I watch too many whales that got doxxed and the pain they have to deal with because they have 100 every time they sell. Everyone in the community. It's just like Matt sold all his shit in 10 years. They're like, Matt bought a fucking house. He's a piece of ass. Like, it's true though. It's just stressful.
It's funny. It's funny, isn't it? Because I think it's so hypocritical when people give anyone shit for selling, because really when someone gets angry about another person selling, what they're really implying is I wanted to sell on top of your head and you sold on my head, right? Because
or they don't trust the product. It's maybe like they think there could be like good gains, but like deep down they don't think their 15-year stakes will be there when they get 15 years through. Because why would, if you did, you wouldn't feel that way. You'd be like, it's another opportunity to DCA in and I'll keep it liquid if I want.
Yeah, I guess we're talking, you know, we're talking logically here. And most people, you know, especially in crypto, when money comes into it, they become very emotional when they see the price go up and down. But I just think it's so funny. Like if you, like you said, if you believe in a product, right, and then you see someone sell the price down, if anything, you should kind of be happy. No, don't get me wrong. Of course, it's never nice to see your paper wealth go down. But then, you know, okay, great. People are cashing out millions of dollars in HEX or whatever. This market's liquid. I can get out, you know, when it's my time or whatever. To hate on people because they sold the price down really, in my opinion, says, oh, you wanted the price to keep going up so you could dump. So it's okay for other people to dump. It's okay for you to dump when you want to dump. But when someone else does it, they're an MF, you know, they're a mother effer and what's not and stuff. Yeah. So
Twitter gives people too much. Twitter gives people too much freedom.
Of course. Everyone's a tough guy on Twitter, right?
How did you start understanding HEX and believing in that? Because that's not, you know, it doesn't matter if you're smart, dumb, or sideways. That's a journey. Like, because it's like you have to get through the Richard Hart wall, right? Like you have to kind of understand where he's coming from. And then you have to look into the software and you're like, wow, this is closed code. And then you're like the T-share rate and everything. Like it's a process. When did you start believing in that? Or like, when did someone say something?
When did it click for me? That's a great question, because you're right. You do have to go down a rabbit hole with any crypto, especially HEX, right? It's not just buy low and sell high. I mean, you can try and do that, but it's better if you stake it. So I was in crypto already, Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, making money, losing money. And then a friend of mine, Hex Turbo, a prominent UK hexagon, was saying, hey, check.
You guys look like you would be friends.
Huh?
You guys look like you would be friends.
Yeah, he's an old friend, man. He's a great guy. He's a legend.
He's shredded, man.
Dude, he's
what the hell? When he posted the picture on my thread for the fitness challenge, I was like, I texted him. I'm like, are you a model or something? Like, I was serious. I was like, it's hard to be ripped like that year round. I do it, but like, obviously everyone knows I do it. He kind of was doing it on the low key.
Yeah, dude, he's shredded. He's in great shape, and yeah, I mean, you should speak to him. He's done, you know, like us and like many people that want to, you know, get better and keep learning. He's gone through every diet and every workout schedule and what's not. So he's found out what works for him and what's not. But yeah, Hex Turbo is a great guy, and you know, we've been friends for a long time. So when I trust whatever he says. So when he said to me, hey, listen, I found this thing called HEX and I think it's legit. You should look at it. The first thing I did, again, kind of like Bitcoin, I kind of palmed it off because I was already in this kind of Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoin mode. And I'm like, I don't really want to learn something new. But through my life, I've always liked to be open-minded because it helps me like get better, right? You learn from your mistakes. And it was I only got into HEX, you know, last year before the sacrifice phase. So I heard about Pulse. Yeah. So I heard about the PulseChain sack and from there, really, I was concentrating on Pulse because I thought, wow, this sounds great, you know, new Ethereum fork and what's not. And then, of course, if you're in Pulse, you're going to find out more about Richard Hart. You're going to go down the HEX rabbit hole. And
that's
yeah, man, it
the
just
way
made
you
sense.
just said that. Like, I didn't even think about that. Like, you're like the first wave of people that were like first sparked by Pulse, like intellectually, and then you wrapped your way back around. Pulse didn't exist quite yet when I started watching it, but that's funny because that'll probably happen to many smart young entrepreneurs. They'll be like, who's this guy? He's the man. Oh, wait,
Well,
he did this thing. It's a long-term investing product. So like, it's a great buy wall.
I mean, to be honest, I was still in that kind of just like chasing that next 100x, 1000x. So I'm not trying to like sit here and be like, I was this upper echelon investor, right? Looking at the tokenomics. I was like, dude, I want to make 1000x. And then the more I looked into PulseChain and then obviously Hex and watched some Hex streams, I was like, okay, this sounds interesting. And then I would start to do the math and do some calculations and find out more about T shares and how it compounds. And then I was like, oh, I'm missing something here with Hex. So I started buying some Hex. And I probably got in about, I can't remember exactly, but maybe before the sacrifice phase. So it might have been about 6 or 7 cents. Yep. So kind of where we are now, right? And
which is great, though. I mean, come on, you got to be loving that a little bit. Like I mean, for a guy in your position who, you know, there's no way you could have put that much money compared to like your net worth in that short amount of time. What you had to do your research, you got to like do your staking ladder, you got to look at everything. You got liquid loan stuff that you're doing. It's like, this is the best time for guys like you and me who were in about this time last year, same price, to just get back in the game. I didn't have the insight that I had now. Zero insight comparatively. I just was buying it because Motley told me to. And Motley said it was a good idea. And other guys said it was a good idea. And I was like, cool. But think about it now. It's like you're in this position where like you could strategically plan this stuff out. You don't have to stake. I think a lot of people should have their stakes out there, but you don't have to do anything. You getting free coins on the Pulse chain. That's very enticing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's a super exciting time to be in, you know, and it's in one way, it's been hard waiting for PulseChain, right, for nearly a year. But in another way, all these good protocols have, you know, popped up that are going to launch, or some of them have launched on Ethereum and they're going to be forked over.
Look at your channel. Look what you built. Look what you guys built without, you know, like all the shit talk, whatever. But like you guys built a presentable, marketable business. I don't know, whatever the term is for all this stuff. And it's like, you set yourself all up. You're locked in. You're ready to go. Like there's a big advantage to having that be the way. People want to say it's not the case. Like you can't market before everything's done. But at the end of the day, it's like you guys are there and other people are not. You guys are streaming. I mean, there are other people. Obviously, it's not like an uncommon thing, a loan protocol. This one's a little bit different, but it's cool. Like you guys are all like, you can do interviews. You have a great setup. You have a talk guy. Like you have Jesse running around giving alpha to everyone. Jesse comes on my channel and says some of the most insightful things I've ever heard in my life.
Jesse's a galaxy brain, man. And
dude, you know, people don't fucking, if you don't think that Jesse is a galaxy brain, then you're playing yourself. That guy comes on my show. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. We were talking about Curve Protocol and he just ran it. He didn't even know what we were talking about and he just schooled us up on it. Like, and I was just like, these are the guys. Like when I see a guy like him and he's passionate about something, you know, I just locked in on him because he was talking and he's all around. I was like, man, that's inspiring stuff. That's how stuff gets done.
Jesse is like, I mean, I've learned so much from him, and that guy, there's some people you meet in your life and they know everything, nearly everything. You know what I mean? Like we speak a lot, right? Because obviously we're on the Liquid Loans team and what's not, but he can do everything, man. That guy can build a house and he can talk about crypto, and, you know, he's a very, very smart guy. So yeah, he's been like a mentor to me and I've learned a lot from him. And, you know, even now, you know, whenever he's on something, I'm going to tune in and listen because,
there's a couple guys,
he's a great guy and he's got a lot of insight. So anyone watching him, definitely go and follow him on Twitter. Just ask Jesse. But dude, you're consistent. Like every day you're taking daily action on your channel and you're also pushing yourself to learn more. Where does that come from? Does that come from your gym?
I just want to be the best at whatever I do, you know? Like I don't want to do stuff if I'm not going to be the best at it. So like whatever I'm doing at the time, right, whether it's bodybuilding or streaming, like I'm going to try to do it the best I can, or otherwise I'm going to not want to do it. Pretty much. Like it's like if I don't have the resources to do something better than, you know, most people, I'm probably not going to do that thing. And I thought that I had the, people told me that I should be an actor when I was young a lot, like, or a speaker or something. And I did some public speaking. And so I knew like I didn't have an issue with the streaming part of it. I could probably never study for the show and still do a decent show, but that's just not, it's about providing value. And that's what I was do. I do that all the time in my own life. I just extract value from the internet, and I usually keep it to myself, I guess. But now it's just like, I just did what I was doing before. I just present it now more so. I would have been doing the exact same research.
Oh, it's great, man. You need to teach. Also, teach what you need to learn, because then you can explain it better and you understand it more. So,
and Wendy's for Tendies, Maddie, Jesse, they come on the show. They fill me in. That's like 10 years of learning. Like, I don't have to decipher through all this stuff. Those guys already got wrecked 100 times, married 3 times. They know the whole deal. They know it back and forth. You know what I mean? And then they teach me. You don't have to fail at everything. Like, you don't. I promise you. I failed very hard when I was very young with like, I got arrested a couple of times and all that stuff. I told myself after that point, I was like, I'm not messing up anymore. And I never did. Like, not like relationships and stuff, but I never got in trouble again. You can change. You don't have to keep beating your head against the wall, but it is uncomfortable. Like, you have to get uncomfortable.
You have to learn from your mistakes. And what I feel is, if there is a failure in life, I feel it when I see like family and friends making the same mistakes again and again in their diet, in their health, in their relationships, in their finances. It's fine to make mistakes if you learn from them and then you move on like you did, right, when you were younger, and like you're doing every day. But I think it's sad when people keep doing the same stuff again. So they keep investing in shit coins and getting rug pulled, right? They keep making the same mistakes in their finances or in their health and what's not. So yeah, man, it's awesome to see you streaming every single day. You and Sam. Sam's kind of like a mentor to you. Am I correct?
Well, Sam was my bodybuilding coach when I met him, and me and Sam have never actually met before in person. But he was he's done over 10,000 pieces of content on the internet on bodybuilding. So I found him, and I just DM'd him, and I was just like, "Hey, can I pay you for your time?" Like years and years and years ago, and he was like, "Sure." And then I talked to him, and then he eventually came like a coach of mine of like fitness. And then we kind of, went our own ways for a couple of years. And I was like, dude, this HEX thing is popping, and I don't think there's anything else popping like this. Like, I was like, there's nothing else. I'm looking everywhere. I look every cranny of the internet for information, like what's going on. Not like just, I know what's going on in the savvier world, and I could tell right away. I was like, this is it. This is it. This feels like something big. The community it's the community that kind of sold me. And he immediately started looking into it, and he was like, he quit whatever he was doing 100%. That, like, literally that day or that week, and we just started streaming, and we're doing a bodybuilding podcast on Thursdays, which is going to be on his channel.
Oh, sweet. So
we're going to bridge the gap with some really, really nuanced pharmacology and bodybuilding stuff with like really, really smart guys.
Sweet, man.
And we're going to get them involved in HEX. And we know IFBB pros all over the place. So like, once you know one of those guys, you know all of them, because they all know each other. And so like that community those guys are dedicated to doing the same thing every day. They're bodybuilders. Like, what's the one thing bodybuilders do better than everyone? The same effing thing every single day. They're consistent, man, and they will stake and wait and lift forever until they're dead. They'll never take their shit out, because they're just like me and Sam. Like, people always say you're not incentivized by money that much, which I'm not. I'm just incentivized by like putting myself in a position where I can make more money. Like, I don't even care. Like, I just low hanging fruit. I hate it. I just want like, I want to get past all that. And like, I think HEX and everything in the channel, once PulseChain comes out and we're booming, it's like, it's going to be a full-time gig, because I'm going to be showing people PulseChain, liquid loans, everything live every single day. Every day.
It will be a full-time job, man. Like, because at the moment we've got this great community, but this still is nothing, right? Remember, PulseChain doesn't even exist yet. And how many streamers do we have, like, streaming about it, talking about it? Can you imagine when it goes live and everyone gets that full system?
Oh my God, I can't imagine. It's going to be so many streamers, dude.
Yeah, and then people are coming over from BSC, from ETH, from Avalanche, and they're like, what's going on over here, right? Everyone loves a layer one. Everyone loves cheap fees. Everyone likes fast transactions. Everyone likes a blockchain that doesn't go down like Solana. So, you know, it's going to be super exciting, and it will be a full-time job. As you know, consuming HEX and PulseChain content has become a full-time job. Never mind making it, right? If you're making content, then you've got a job, you know, you've got a full-time job.
I did it as a show form because I wanted to not have to edit it, because I knew it would take me too long to figure out. But like, if I was suggesting for anyone else, like, you need help. Like, you can't, I would not be able to do the channel the way that I'm doing it by myself. So just know that. And I doubt you would be able to do it to the same extent by yourself, right? Like, you do this by yourself, but there's a lot of like, you know, like everyone has support. You can't just, I see a lot of the streamers in HEX, and what they do wrong, in my opinion, is they try to just solo it. Like, I'm going to do everything from the editing to the hashtagging to the marketing. And I'm like, I'm not doing any of that shit. Like, that's not what I'm good at. That's not where I shine. So let's make a better product, right? Like, this is what you're good at, right? Like, clearly you're good at presenting to the class. You're good at being a streamer. You're good at being a host.
Thanks, dude.
You're very good at it. I mean, you're definitely one of the best.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I mean, like, I'm like you. I want to learn all the time. I want to grow. I'm interested in it. You know, if you're not passionate about something, you're not going to learn, right? Like, you know what it's like, man. You're a guy, you're in shape, you love fitness. When you try and get other people into shape and they don't want to know about it, you could talk till the cows come home. They're not going to.
They could stab you. They resent it. They don't like it.
Exactly. You have to in life, that goes for anything. You have to be self-motivated, right?
So true.
You know, I'm sure you work out every day, right?
Yes.
Pretty much.
I have to stop myself from working out twice.
Yeah. Like, I work out every day, and even and I'm like, I need a rest day. And then I'm like, I'm just going to do a few chin-ups.
Just kick the bag for a half hour or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
It. Dude, you could kill someone with those kicks. Dude, I would hate to run into a guy like you at a bar talking shit, and you just lay it and kick right under their kneecap, and they're just like, what is this guy? What is this guy doing?
You know, the best self-defense is the mindset, man, and to avoid trouble before you see it coming. So, you know, yeah, I'm a lover, not a fighter, but I like to hit the bag, and I like to hit the pads and stuff. But I'm like you, man. I like to train.
Would you ever fight another man in a organized? I know you've obviously done some sort of training. Have you ever fought another man, like in a mixed martial arts?
Not in an MMA fight, but I grew up like doing martial arts, so I used to compete like all the time through my teens into my 20s.
You ever been knocked out?
Huh?
You ever been knocked out?
No, never lost.
Damn, son.
But, you know, listen, I was fighting like, you know, in junior kind of competitions up until I was like 21.
So dope,
you know what? It's like, I wasn't like, listen, I've never done an MMA fight, which I kind of regret because I would have liked to do one MMA fight. But I did BJJ for a while as well. And I did a few competitions in BJJ, and I lost in that for sure, right? Because there's some beasts in that. But in like kickboxing and what's not, but I still got my bell rung, right? Still got a bloody nose, still got, you know, whether you win or lose a fight, you hurt the next day, right? You ache and you've got stuff. So yeah, man.
I was really close to wanting to do a UFC podcast. Like
you like UFC?
Oh my God, yes.
Sweet.
I just like watching it though, right? Like the proposition of getting my bell rung, like I've already had enough mental trauma. Like I don't, some dude as badass as me, like really dedicated to punching me in the face is not what I would like for my future. Just because I'm worried. Like I love to fight, dude. Like if somebody was like, hey, none of you guys are going to get hurt at the end of the day, just scrap it out. I love that. Like there's no problem. Someone beats my ass, I could care less. Obviously I wouldn't want to get hurt. But when it comes to the trauma, what I see these guys going through, when I look into their careers, 32, 33, they're starting to act different. They're starting to move slower. Their personality tweaks a little bit. And you start to think like, was the human brain not meant to be socked by a bunch of dudes on steroids like all day long? Probably not. Because as you know, if you watch UFC, those guys hit like a ton of bricks now. It's crazy.
You're gonna get brain trauma, man. If you're a professional fighter and you're in there long enough, like if you're Mayweather and you're like, that's a very rare human being who gets out without, you know, barely a scratch. If you're a
best
boxer,
defensive boxer in history, though.
Yeah, no, you can't, the turtle, the shell and stuff like that. Like his amazing, like a complete master, doesn't get enough props at all. But if you're sparring in a boxing gym, or you're a Muay Thai fighter, or you're an MMA fighter, it's not even the professional fights. I mean, you're going to get your bell rung, you might get knocked out in professional fights. It's the gym wars, man. Now that's why a lot of fighters these days, they're doing a lot of touch sparring. I don't know if you know Max Holloway.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not sure if it's true, but he's saying he's barely sparring these days, right? Before fights, he's just doing touch stuff.
Same with Sugar Sean. Sugar Sean says the same thing. He's like, I'm not, Sugar Sean?
Yeah, tall guy. He's in the 145 division.
He's like, first of all, biggest 145 I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he's like 5'11", 6 foot.
Yeah, his reach is ridiculous. And but a lot of these guys, they're like, dude, I'm 29 and I'm making 850 grand a fight now. A lot of them, the ones that are better, like much more popular, they're like, my only attack vector is my brain. Like, like where are they going to lose? They're already on social media crushing.
Yeah.
People want to talk to them, see them, invite them to bars or parties and stuff for money and give them sponsorships for everything. And they're like, you better be really careful and pick and choose. And the coaches are getting way more like, you'd say liberal nowadays. Back in the day, they call them wussies, but I call them financially smart. Like, it's just, they're not, I mean, how could you not protect your brain? Like, we have one thing, like a sack of meat in our head, and it keeps us going. And then you're like, okay, my life goal is to beat the living S out of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably why I stopped, like in my early 20s, because like I love martial arts and I like competing. Don't get me wrong, it's so scary. You get up on there and you're shaking and you're like, why am I doing this?
But that's the good part.
Yeah, if you see GSP talk about this, that's exactly how you feel. Like you're walking out and you're like, why am I doing this? All I want to do is go home. And then when you win, it's the biggest high ever, right? Dopamine, oxytocin, you feel amazing. But
just like rock climbing, you just described. I did rock climbing for years. Same way I felt every day walking up to the rocks before we do lead climbing. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. And then when you leave, you're like, I'm not dead. This is sick. It's like literally, you're like, this is dumb. Like, why are we here? Why are we climbing this rock? Like, only bad things can happen.
But it's like free climbing without ropes.
No, it's just lead climbing. So you have to climb up to the first. So the guy below you has a rope and you have the rope in your hand.
Yeah.
And then the first 15 feet there's a pin up there. So you climb the first 15 feet, then you pin it. And then another 15 feet, you climb up. But the whole time you could like fall back to the opposite anchor. So it's not like where you're hanging up from the top. Like you actually have to feed the rope from the bottom and like clip up. It's just, there's 3 different types of climbing, but basically it's stupid and sketchy.
Scary, man. Scary.
It's so scary. No, like I have dreams to this day where I wake up like startled because like in the last time I rock climbed, I was 180 feet up and I smashed my foot and I've never rock climbed since.
Yeah, rock climbing. I haven't done a lot, but I've done a little bit in Asia, down in south of Thailand, and obviously that's all you're unharnessed and you're roped up, but still, man, you get up like 15, 20 feet and you're like, holy shit, right? Like even though if you fall, you're going to be okay, it's still scary, as hell. So props, dude. I'm
actually done with that life. Crypto's changed me into
more chilled out person.
Look, I got my little space here, my coffee machine over here. You know what I'm saying? Like things have chilled out a little bit in the GRC household.
But listen, man, you were talking about Hex Turbo being ripped, and he is. But dude, you're in great shape. What do you do?
Do it.
There you go, double bicep. Let's go.
Well, controversially, I take testosterone, which people think is very, it's not the flavor of the month.
GRT. Okay.
So through a doctor,
you're a young guy to do that.
Yeah, no, I know it's totally not necessary. It's just for the benefits that I wanted it to have. So basically, I worked out until I was 26 as hard as I could, and I was like, teetering between 165 and 171. And I was like, I've been working like 4 hours a day to stay at this weight. And it sucks. And I was working harder than ever. I looked great. I was ripped. I was shredded, like probably more shredded than I am now. I didn't look as big. That's for darn sure.
How much do you weigh now?
171. But I'm a little lighter than I was like then.
How tall are you?
5'8".
Okay.
So basically I started doing that, and I went to my doctor, and it's in the States, it's just business. It's not like, people could say whatever they want. If there's a clinic that says testosterone over the top of it, you're probably going to get testosterone when you leave. So just know, in the States, it's way more like if I wanted to start a business in the States, a TRT clinic, I would be benefiting. I wouldn't necessarily do this, but what's the benefit? You want people to come in and get a service. And if they feel like it's safe, which I did, and I did all the research, clinical research for months and months and months. We've streamed it. We posted it. I've done research on everything. I decided to do it with a doctor, and it was fine. It's not for everyone though. And again, like it's not something that people should do. Like it's not, my life has not been ever something that people should do, but being transparent is something that I refuse not to do just for the sake of like being correct or whatever. Like my mom wouldn't necessarily like me saying that, I'm sure. I don't even know if she knows, but the truth is the truth. And in the bodybuilding industry, just like the crypto industry, everyone lies.
Yeah, of course, man. When I was growing up looking at Flex magazine, I was like, oh my God, I just got to eat chicken and broccoli and lift like, 6 times a week, and I'm going to look like Kai Green or something.
Right. And, people come at me all the time, right? And they say, you don't need to be doing that. Your brain cells, your heart cells. And I'm like, how much blood work have you gotten done in the last year? How's your coronary artery calcium score looking? How's your blood work? How's your lipid panel? How's your hormone panel? Oh, wait, you don't know because you're a hypocrite and you're an idiot. That's the truth. The truth is, if you're overweight and you even have one word to say about what I'm doing, then you just need to look in the mirror, because I know what all my blood markers are. I'm a weirdo, okay? I'm not like every guy, so I understand. Like me and Sam are a little bit OCD, I'd say would probably be the word for it. But in general, it's like I'm very, very, very chronically and clinically aware of like the negative aspects of this, and I monitor it all the time. And again, just like there's dudes that ram steroids up their ass from every dealer in town, and they last for years. And I'm like dealing with a doctor like 3 times a year, doing my blood work. So again, guys, just like crypto, just like anything, there's bad ways to do things. There's good decisions and bad decisions, but you can make really bad decisions in a really bad way, or you can talk to your friends, talk to your doctor, talk to other people. I just want people to be legitimate, right? Like just say it. Like we're all going to die. Like I'm going to be dead. Why the frick would I hold back because my mom would say something? I would hope she wouldn't want me to do that. You know what I mean? I'm going to be dead real soon here, like 40, 60 years, if the best case scenario, right? Like, why would I not try to do everything, especially if there's resources there? And I'm not talking about TRT. I'm talking about, I've done a lot of research and different things and like psychedelics and stuff like that. And I don't do that stuff anymore, by the way. But just stuff like that. Like in my head, I like to experience things, document them in my journals, and teach them to the people. That's what I like to do.
Yeah, man. Listen, everyone's got to walk their own path, and I'd be lying if I say I hadn't thought about it. Like it's hard to grow muscle, right? As a natural, like I teeter around 160 pounds, and I do resistance training every day, right? Like I'm not a big guy at all, but as a natural, you peak out. If you lift weights and stuff, you peak out quite quickly, and it's
And you become intuitively aware. You're intuitively aware of your age, right? So you understand your hormone. Like you're intuitively aware that you're headed in one direction rather than the other. When you're 16, you're going like this, right? You're getting more testosterone, more all these things. But again, these words, testosterone, stuff like this, let me put it into perspective for you guys. Every single woman and whatever in middle school that is sexually active, that talks to her doctor, is taking birth control. And nobody cares about that, right? Because it's not taboo. And I'm not talking about the actual like moral stance on that. I don't care about any of that. I'm talking about like the taboo-ness of it, right? Birth control is not a taboo subject. Testosterone is. Why? Because why do people not like to talk about HEX? Because there's no reason for it. Because nobody trades it. They don't want it. Why don't they talk about tests? It just makes guys more muscly and crazy and like a little bit more, it makes you a little more alpha male-y. So, and it's not expensive. It's dirt cheap. It's just not a good business model. Like it's just, so they're not incentivized for it. But I guarantee if it was like super expensive and like they could charge you like $1,100 for nice little package of it, like they would do it, but it's really cheap and the clinics got a hold of it. But again, when it comes to anything, if you're not talking to your doctor, you're making a big mistake. I promise. Like I promise. And I say that not because your doctor's the smartest guy, but because you have to be in the mindset where this is your life. Like this is my life. Like I'm take it seriously. I don't go out and party. I could, you know, there's trade-offs in life, right? Some people drink every weekend and do a little bit of, you know, recreational substance, and nobody would say, "Oh, check your blood markers." Why? You should very well be doing that. You're doing cocaine and you are drinking all the time. Your blood pressure's out of control. Your liver's probably going down, but it's just the taboo. Which words do the media use? Which word, like, and I try to break through that with crypto and everything. Like when people were starting to say liquid loans is this, that, and the other, I was like, why is everyone talking so much? Like there's too much noise. This has just become like a meme at this point. Like not liquid loans, but like people making fun of stuff. And just like, it's like, oh, they're taking money, so therefore they're scam artists. It's like, doesn't every company or asset in history ever taken money for everything? So I think when we just have to open up the speech a little more when it comes to these topics that don't get talked about, because I don't necessarily think that they're truthfully different than the other topics, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think, you know, I got the thread you're on, and I agree, is everyone has to do their own research. We live in a society now where we're overloaded with information, and a lot of the time we like to make decisions based on what other people do, right? So MAXIs will look into the community, not just HEX, in any you know, group, whether that's CrossFit or whether that's whatever, right? Or bodybuilding or vegan diet or whatever diet, right? You know, the carnivore diet. They'll look for people who are more senior, have more seniority, are confident, and then they'll just listen to what they say. And they may be right, but they may be wrong too. So you have to go out there. You have to get your fingers in the mud.
Or they may be selling you something, which
Exactly.
you don't know, right? I don't know who pays you. So let's say you were like, hey, this thing is so, let's say you wouldn't shut up about liquid loans. The whole time you were like, this is so amazing. Like, Scott, like, GymRat, you need to right now really think about this as an investment. I'd be like, this dude's sketchy. Like, you know, but you wouldn't do that, right? Like you wouldn't. And I think it's the incentive structure, right? You're letting me know, like, you're a part of this project. Jesse's a part of this project. Never once had they been in my DMs, seeing asking me about my sacrifice rates, anything like this. That's all big red flag stuff. But they have constantly came on here, shown their face, answered hard questions that even they don't know the answers to because they're not devs sometimes. Like, you know, they're still putting their balls on the line. And I really like that about this thing you guys got going on.
Everyone on the Liquid Loans team is a hexagon and they're a pulsecon and they've sacrificed, and we want PulseChain to do well, right? Everyone. So why do you think we're building why do you think we've built a validator node? That's not a small operation, right? That's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of money. It's a big headache, but we believe in PulseChain. We believe in the community. So, you know, as you said, we're not ramming anything down anyone's throats. In fact, if Liquid Loans comes up on a stream, cool. If it doesn't, cool. We chat about whatever, right? I think everyone in life needs to do their own research and find out what works for them. Everyone's in a different part of their life. Some people are married. Some people are single. Some people have kids. Some people, you know, they work part-time, and some protocols work for others and they don't work for, you know, and they work for some and they don't work for others. So yeah, dude, I think we're on the same page.
Are you going to be in Vegas?
For PulseCon? I'm not sure yet. Maybe not. We'll see. September, right?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure either. Yeah, we got a lot of stepping stones before then, I guess.
Yeah, man. But listen, dude, you have to come back on. This has been awesome. Yeah. Before I let you go, I like to do a quick fire question round with my guests. You down for that? 8 questions.
Absolutely. Let's hear it.
You can give me 1 word to 1 sentence answers only, right?
Let's go.
Let's go. Number 1, best piece of advice you were ever given?
I would say to not get married before I was 30.
Favorite food?
If I'm just grubbing out, I love pizza, dude. Like I don't care where it's from. I don't care if it's crap. I don't care if it's New York style. I will eat all of it.
First crypto you ever bought?
The first crypto that I ever bought was Bitcoin for $3,400, 1.7 Bitcoin roughly.
Nice.
And that was all because I was in a dating paid course, and the guy was like, "You got any extra money?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "You should buy Bitcoin." I was like, "Cool." Literally didn't look at it till it was 65K. But anyway.
Sweet. Biggest celebrity teenage crush?
You know, I liked Avril Lavigne. I was kind of into some of that music, like that punk rock, like girl vibe. Avril Lavigne, to me, she was a little something, something.
She was cute. Number one piece of advice for no coiners?
If you're a no coiner, the number one piece of advice, you must learn and study now. While you're working, please open this contact Liquid Loans, open crypto in the morning. You must study, you must learn, and you can do it while you're doing your work in your ears, because this is the internet.
One thing you haven't done yet, but you must do before you die. Something from the bucket list.
We'll keep it PG, but I would like to do one. That's a tough one. I would like to speak on stage as a motivational speaker in front of 100,000 plus.
Worst investment you ever made?
I'm not going to call out the people that maybe sell. I bought Polkadot Synthetics. What was that? Synthetics Network. I think I bought it at $27. It was the 5% play in my paid group. The 5% play was Synthetics, and I think it lost like over 2,000% in like a month.
Ouch. Advice to your younger self?
Please stop worrying about what other people think of you. It doesn't matter if you're tall, short, handsome, fat, or whatever. Nobody gives an S about what you're doing. So just do whatever you'd like.
Awesome, dude. Listen, tell the people where they can find you.
Guys, GymRatCrypto. I'm taking over Instagram, period. Guys, I know I'm going to fix up Instagram. Don't worry about the bots. You don't have to interact with anyone. Just go on there, follow Richard, follow Liquid Loans, follow me, a couple people. Trust me, I'm gonna send my pictures out there. Doing a bodybuilding podcast with Sam Stolts on his channel, not crypto related at all, tomorrow night. If anyone wants to know about nuanced bodybuilding subjects like we kind of touched on here, you're going to want to see that. I'm telling you, that could be the best podcast on the internet when it comes to bodybuilding in a couple of months. And guys, Twitter, GymRatCrypto, crypto in the morning, every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern, guys. We are absolutely pumped about PulseChain. We're pumped about HEX. I am going to do everything in my power as a marketing little gym rat to keep pushing this stuff forward, because I truthfully believe that this is the future of decentralized finance.
Awesome, buddy. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming on, and you'll have to come back on again soon. Cheers,
you got to come on my show and spit it up with Sam, dude.
Let's do it. Let's do it soon, man.
I'm going to hit you up, man. Have a great day.
Thanks, buddy. GymRatCrypto, what a legend. Definitely go and follow him on his YouTube channel, on Twitter, and on Instagram too. Guys, if you like videos like this and all the content that we put out on the YouTube channel, do hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you're notified every time we drop new videos. I appreciate all of you. I hope you're having a great Wednesday wherever you are in the world. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.